It has become a part of the sports environment when you have players talking about like 90% of the tweets at them are, I needed one more rebound.
It's a topic that is becoming more prevalent in the banking system, and I think that regulators are starting to pay a little bit more attention to it and how it's banked, simply because it's kind of part of the commonplace to a degree.
Well, welcome back to the Next Generation podcast. Just the two of us, quote Will Smith.
Back to the bad boys.
Just the
Back
two
to the
of
bad
us.
boys.
How many of those are they going to make? Did you know there's another one that just came out a couple weeks ago?
No, they can't be doing any of their stunts now or anything.
Yeah, I don't know that they ever did.
It's
but
getting brutal.
Yeah, I haven't seen a bad boy movie.
I don't know if I've ever seen one all the way through either.
I've never seen a Fast and Furious.
Well, there's plenty of them out there for you.
And there's about 10 of those. So,
Yeah.
anyways, the bad boys are back.
Bad boys are back.
We ain't going nowhere.
That's right. We're the Pistons of the 90s.
04 Pistons?
Oh, what a great team. They're not the bad boys, though.
Correct. Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah.
Those guys.
Yeah.
Lambeer.
Yeah.
I heard a comp from the Celtics who just won are comparable to the 04 Pistons this week. What do you think about that?
I mean, I don't know.
A lot of role players.
Yeah. Can anybody compare to Ben Wallace?
Al Horford. I don't know. I
What a
wasn't
stud.
following that Pistons team. I
What a
was
stud.
Ben Wallace,
Yeah.
Al Horford.
Al Horford.
How about it?
Yeah.
An NBA champion.
He's the type of guy you want on your team.
Yeah.
Kind of like you, Luke.
You think so?
Yeah, you just want him on your team.
Just hanging out on the wing, ready to jack up a three.
That's right. That's right. The least amount of movement as
I'm
possible.
so bad at basketball. Did you know that? I'm so bad.
I didn't know that, but
Could you
I could infer.
wingspan?
Yeah.
Can you see it now? I can't grab rebounds.
You're
I
not,
could foul.
you're not built in a way that just screams
I'm
basketball.
built like the ball, kind of.
If a ball and you were rolling down the hill, who would get down there faster?
Last episode we had on Charlie Spakes, who nailed Bryson DeChambeau.
Absolutely nailed it.
Yeah, that was impressive.
What's
Impressive
the
win.
one thing that we didn't do that we should have done when he...
Put money on it?
Yes. Gosh.
We should have, because he knows his golf, I guess. You knew that he was a good golf player.
He's a lobbyist. He's in that world. I don't know what's prearranged and what's not.
Yeah, the U.S.
Is there
Open was rigged.
Some insider trading. Hey, Rory doesn't miss a 3-foot putt if it's not rigged.
Two of them.
I know.
Kind of. One was.
No, it was.
But Bryson missed one too, you know?
He did.
I mean, they traded off bad putts.
Yeah. Is this a
That
conspiracy?
was a fun tournament, though.
Are we going to turn this into a conspiracy?
No. Can you imagine standing over any of those putts or Bryson's last one to win it?
Yeah.
Man.
What a shot. That may be the greatest shot I've personally seen.
The bunker shot?
Right. As far as, in the moment shot that I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was good. I'm trying to think of a one. Fitzpatrick had one. Was that last year? Or 2 years ago out of the bunker?
No, it was 2 years ago at the Country Club.
Mm-hmm.
Right, in Philadelphia or
Which was
Pennsylvania.
exciting. He's just kind of boring.
Yeah, but that was a great shot.
It was. I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm just saying, he's just kind of boring.
Yeah.
Bryson was an amazing.
Good for golf.
It was awesome.
Yeah. Did you see?
He's really turned it around.
Speaking of, did you see the Golf Channel guy that recreated the shot that night?
That was awesome.
Isn't that cool?
That made my day because he's done that for the last 12 tournaments. He's gone out to the iconic shot from that tournament. He's tried to redo.
Yeah.
And he's sculled it. He's shanked it. So it was awesome for him to do it with him right there too.
Yeah. Would you have hit that shot over the clubhouse?
Oh my gosh. I probably would have chunked it because the clubhouse was there. I would have just kind of short armed it.
Yeah. Well, anyways, we did not do what we should have done.
No.
And get rich off of Charlie's
Handicapper
prediction.
Stakes.
Yeah, that's okay. Next British Open, we'll give him a call.
But how about it? Sports gambling.
Yeah. How about sports gambling?
What do you think about that?
Ooh, great when you win.
Slippery slope when you lose.
Great when you win.
Really, any gambling, I guess.
There's a reason that they always put the disclaimer on there, right?
The hotline.
Yeah, the addiction to gambling hotline.
Yeah.
So, but it is legal.
It is legal in the great state of Arkansas.
The great state of Arkansas and
kind of
many other states.
Or it is legal for you to gamble through an Arkansan casino.
Yeah, I don't know what the specifics of it are, but I don't think you can't be in another state. Like you couldn't go. I don't think it's not illegal. It's not legal in Oklahoma, right? Outside of the casinos. So
I'm not too sure.
I don't know if
I know that all of the legal casinos are through Arkansas though. Okay. Saracen and the racetrack has one.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've talked a lot about the movement of money, and one of the ways money is moving. I mean, it seems like every year, like after the Super Bowl or something, we get like, oh, another record was broken for this amount of money waged in the Super Bowl, or even for the entire year. It just keeps growing, which I don't know that's. I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm not saying it definitely has a bad connotation.
Yeah.
I think
it's almost been part of watching sports now. I mean, ESPN has a whole
they just got in
dedicated section, right? ESPN Bet or something. Yeah, I mean,
everybody's got it.
If you look on your ESPN app now, you get the line on every single game.
All the odds.
So
how do they do that?
Who sets the odds?
Yeah.
I don't know. Somebody who...
Algorithm.
Surely that's a major part of it.
But before then, like, is it just a couple guys in a room? They're like, all right, who's going to win? Let's think about it.
Whoever they are good at what they do. It's amazing how close they get on so many different games.
Yeah. But you're right. I mean, it has become a part of the sports environment. When you have players talking about all the like 90% of the tweets at them are, I needed one more rebound.
Yeah. Well,
they're getting ticked at these players.
Well, fantasy probably really brought this on too, just simply because you were picking players to have certain statistics, and so and you know, most people wager over fantasy. You know, there's a certain buy-in, and you know how that goes. So
Max, why are we talking about sports gambling?
Well. I think
outside of this being your intervention,
exactly.
Josie wanted me to talk to you.
Thanks, man.
Just kidding. It was Corbin. She said a full sentence, man. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's her first sentence.
Getting really serious.
Daddy, stop gambling. Fortunately, I don't think we have that issue. But,
Good.
Because she's not talking. No.
And they don't know.
No, but we're... It's increasingly becoming part of the banking system, right?
Sure.
You know, those funds are rolling in and out of checking accounts, and so
you're talking about for the consumer, the bettor,
right? Yes, and so it's just interesting, you know, because it's state by state right now, the legalization of it, you know, and where it lands federally, and so. You know, there's a lot of regulations specific to the banking industry in regards to gambling in general. And I know we're talking specifically about sports because you and I like that, but that's also been the largest growing aspect of it as well. And so it's interesting. You know, the banks have sort of been a police for money laundering. And, you know, gambling has oftentimes been seen as an avenue to that. So there's a lot of different monitoring and due diligence that comes into play with gambling, and banks, as you are very, very aware, have a lot of transactionary data, and they've got a lot of data at hand. And so It's a topic that is becoming more prevalent in the banking system, and I think that regulators are starting to pay a little bit more attention to it and how it's banked, simply because it's kind of part of the commonplace to a degree now, and
Definitely.
and is rising just so rapidly. I mean, I think we went from the Supreme Court made the decision in 2018, essentially to leave it up to the states, is my understanding, and so and so that's what's changed a lot on it going forward. And again, states don't want to lose out on that tax revenue that they get.
Yeah.
So I think there's 38 states now that are now, legalized it. So I don't know. It'd just be interesting to see how banks how banks change with that. So we'll have to pay attention to what our regulators say about it, what makes sense from a monitoring standpoint. We talk a lot about all the different things that we monitor and all the different things that we sort of pseudo police as well. And this is just one that's taking up a lot of time and attention.
Do you think the main regulation that we would have over it is the money coming in?
Yes.
Not going out?
Right. Yeah. And I've read a couple of articles on it and had some interesting takes. One being extending credit to someone who is actively gambling. That could be a big piece of the commitment to the credit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, someone's got a problem, and they're essentially going to use those funds for gambling. That could be a big no-no, right? And so
should be
yeah. So there's
source of repayment,
right? Yeah, a little risky there. So it'd be interesting to see how that goes. From a general standpoint, it's just something to keep an eye on. And I just think a lot of younger folks like us are kind of into the sports gambling world. And it felt like it got really popular when we were in college, specifically. So it'd be interesting to see how the regulatory world shapes to it.
Yeah, and you mentioned a good point, because some of this is taxable at the state level, I'm assuming. So earnings crossing state borders or something along those lines, maybe reporting that income in a certain state if you have I don't know.
Yeah.
If you're on a trip somewhere or...
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah, and one of the things to talk about with it in regards to banks as well is we have to spend a lot of money, time, energy, and effort on monitoring different things, and we have a lot of things that we monitor, and we have whole departments dedicated for that, right? So, will regulators or lawmakers ease the burden on some of that monitoring because it's sort of become commonplace? I think that would be a question to ask. Charlie mentioned this a little bit in his lobbying discussion. While theoretically it makes sense that grocery store, that the SNAP grants that he was talking about should be limited to healthy stuff, the undue burden that put on small grocers was not recognized. Some of the times I think the banking industry gets that same sort of rap to a degree, in that while it makes sense that the bank monitors some of these different things through their varieties, through their kind of BSA, AML departments, there's always going to be costs that come with that. There's always going to be different levels of time, energy, and effort that are put into that. And so, to ask a small bank, a really, really small bank, to beef up, their AML, BSA departments continuously for something, for anything, is difficult. But I can see it being a significant burden if it continues to grow the way it is, and there continues to be more kind of backlash from the regulatory and legislative standpoint.
Yeah. I think one of the things that, I don't know that it's encouraging, but exists, is casinos have to operate under very similar regulations as a bank when it comes to BSA, SARS, AML, And so imagine if you had $30,000 of dirty money and then you go turn it into chips or whatever it might be, and then play for a little bit, and then you get a check. You walk out with a check from the casino. They're monitoring that, which is good to kind of cover us. But there will definitely be. I mean, what kind of practices do you think would be practical for? Us in the future?
I don't know what the level of oversight needs to be, because there's got to be some oversight level, and we're currently doing some of that stuff today. It'll be something that we need to watch, that will be ongoing, that we need to watch, and so we'll just have to pay attention to it. And but again, if you put too much on it and the oversight is extreme and it continues to grow, I mean, that's just significant resources you got to allocate towards it. If it's going to continue to grow, I think you've got to look at your monitoring and due diligence of it, and maybe it's something that that you don't have to spend those amazing amounts of resources just to monitor. Yeah,
I wonder at what point it stops growing.
I don't know.
I mean, it feels like the word's out that people have heard that it's out there, and
it's such a revenue generator. That's the thing, right? It's such a major revenue generator. For states, for casinos, for for companies like ESPN that we talked about, and other companies like that. So DraftKings, there's 1,000 of these out there.
Well, now even content, there are plenty of people who produce content around it who are making money that way. But I will say this: there are plenty of things that have been legalized, whether it's a good or service that's maybe not good for the citizens of the United States, but the government can make some money off of through taxes. Like you think about alcohol, nicotine, cigarettes for years, and now sports gambling. I mean, I know that you talked about it was popular in college, so there are a ton of young kids who are doing this, who can't afford to lose anything. But it is definitely an addictive.
Where's the financial wellness attitude towards it? I think banks do, to a degree, have an understanding of education and need to educate their customers on, hey, this is risky.
Everybody knows that, though.
Should.
So there's only so much you can do.
It'll be interesting just to see how the banking system adapts to it. So next time when the British Open comes on, we will have so much more knowledge about this. But it'll be interesting just to kind of see, what the betting levels continue to be on even a sport like golf. And so it'll just be something that we'll all pay attention to.
Definitely.
Yeah. So
would you take odds for Arkansas? I think I saw their over-under was 4.5.
Yeah.
Is that right?
I'm taking the under right now. No, I think it's 5.5. I think it's 5.5, but I'm taking
5.5's a lot.
I'm taking the under right now.
5.5 is a lot. That means you beat the 3 non-con.
I know.
One being Law Tech, the other 2. I don't want to say Cupcake, but Cupcake, Oklahoma State, and probably Mississippi State. That's 5. Who else are you going to beat?
Hey, man,
Texas.
That's why you play the game.
That's why you play the game.
That's right.
That's why it's fun to bet on, I guess.
I guess so.
Because hope is a dangerous thing.
It is. There's a lot of people that bet against the Razorbacks so that they win.
And
they win in either situation.
You're saying Razorback fans bet against the Razorbacks? Yeah, it's a win-win.
Yeah, it's a win-win.
Or it's a win-lose either way.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a hedge, an emotional hedge.
It is a very emotional hedge. Yes. So, it's been interesting. Enjoyed talking about it, and it'd be something I think just to keep an eye on ongoing. But it's part of our world, right? And it's amazing the things that become part of the banking world that you would never even think of. And so, as we continue identifying the monitoring and due diligence, we'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Until next time. Go Hawks.